to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast from three guys who talked sports together over lunch for over 10 years, probably eating a Fudgy the Whale.
Hey everybody, welcome to Three the Hard Way Sports Podcast. I'm Bryan Galloway here with, from Parts Unknown, we have Michael Pipersek. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well other than this weather. It's like I'm in Seattle for the last couple of days. Moodier than normal.
Just don't commit suicide at the top of buildings. Okay, and from Rumson, New Jersey, we have Alex Shanley. How are you, Alex?
Knicks in 6.
I like
Knicks
it.
in 6. Knicks in 6. That's like, okay. Well, that's a bumper sticker for people's cars now. Knicks in 6. Okay, we heard him say that. Okay, well, it's been a crazy week in sports, and I do want to say, you understand what I'm talking about when I said Seattle with the jumping off of buildings. Talked to good old Bill Myers when we were out in Seattle one time with a bunch of people at business. We're in a CVS, and all of a sudden there was a commotion outside, and some guy had jumped off the building, and the lady at the CVS goes, "Oh yeah, that happens all the time here." She's like, "Okay, I just don't understand." She's like, "Yeah, people commit suicide all the time here." So anyway, okay. As we move on to this discussion, let's talk really quickly about the NBA MVP, and as we all are pretty shocked to see that Deuce McAllister, what's his name? Deuce McBride of the Knicks won the MVP of the NBA. Oh, no, wait, that's a mistake. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander won. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think there should be a rule. I'll let Mike go second just because he can analyze all that stuff. But I think if you win the MVP, you can't win it the next year. That should be my new rule. Because I just feel like they just don't vote. Like Jordan should have won the MVP every single year he played, but they just get bored of it, so they give it to somebody else. But is that really the guy that's the MVP? So if we just take that off the board and say, hey, if you won the MVP last year, you can't win it again this year. Doesn't matter how good you are, you're not going to win it. I think that would make it.
How about having a player of the year and an MVP? I mean, I think it's like player of the year is the best player regardless, and MVP is the person who helps his team the most.
Yeah.
See, I always feel that if you take a person off a team, how would they do, right? And then you take Jokic off Denver, they would make the playoffs. You take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off of Oklahoma City, would they make the playoffs? They might make the playoffs.
But then you have to get Giannis involved, right?
Right. Would you take Giannis off? They wouldn't even come close to the playoffs.
Well, they'd be in the lottery.
You take Curry off. You take Curry off the Warriors. They're not going to make the playoffs, as we can see. You take Brunson off the Knicks. They're not going to make the playoffs, guys. I don't care how good his cat is.
Yeah.
So there's certain guys that Can you take Edwards off Minnesota? Would they make the playoffs?
Not in the West. I don't think they would.
I don't think so.
Okay. Would you take Ja Morant off the off Memphis? Would they make the playoffs?
Yeah.
They probably would. They're better. No. It's interesting to me, in this era of big threes, there are still there's still so many teams that are relying on one guy. Yeah. There are.
And I think the idea of another award, I mean, I like it because, I don't like it because I hate to water awards down, but I like it in the sense that it much more clearly defines the award itself versus MVP trying to be all things to all people. So is player of the year, but then is it like, well, I didn't want the MVP. I thought I was the player of the year. I don't know, but Mike will throw the stats at you, I'm sure, about SGA. We'll see. And
I could get behind your proposal, Bryan, player of the year versus MVP, because there was that one year that Steve Nash won MVP.
2 years, right?
Yeah, but there was the 1 year he won it. Kobe probably should have won it. Kobe had an incredible season, but Nash was probably more valuable to his team. than.
Oh yeah, that team would never have
those
done anything without
players.
that. But you look at those. Look at the Iverson teams, like that Iverson Sixer team that made it to the finals.
Yeah.
They were
He was
miserable
most
without him.
valuable, and he would have won both awards that year.
Yes, he would
He
have,
was
and
But
that's
incredible.
what I'm
let,
saying. There are some teams, that I don't think they'd even make the playoffs with certain players. There are other teams that, hey, guess what? They could probably make the playoffs without that person, and so
so
then you understand what's the value of that person.
so what you're saying, Bryce, Player of the Year is ultimately the better award, right? Like that's the best player
Yeah,
in the
best
NBA.
player, and that would be like every year Jordan was there, he was the best player.
He
Every
would have
year,
won.
Yeah.
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 LeBron would have won it a bunch of years, or at least the MVP because he took Cleveland by himself, right?
Oh
to the
yes,
playoffs.
another
Yeah.
one, another terrible team that he had. Yeah.
I think you could do something like that, but I also thought I always think you could do that in baseball too. I think there's because Mike Trout used to win it a lot, but they never did anything. So, like,
Yeah.
was that really a good indication of who's a real MVP? Because if he wasn't on the team, they still wouldn't make the playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs with him on the team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like that to me that's the thing. I think if first of all the MVP has to be on a playoff team, you can't not have him on the playoff team. Sorry, it doesn't work. And if they're not, so player of the year, then they go to player of the year.
Yeah.
Same with like Cy Young is easier usually every year. They never have a problem with Cy Young because it's easier to define. MVP is a little bit different because it could be a pitcher, it could be a batter. Cy Young is only a pitcher. They never say like, yeah, Aaron Judge should be the Cy Young of the
Yeah.
he deserves it. So I don't know. I have always thought that player of the year, MVP should have both. Again, it's just another award. It's another trophy for people. But I think it's smarter because this argument is like Jokic was amazing this year. I think he was better this year than he was last year.
But he's won it too many times,
I
right?
know,
Like
I know.
they get bored with it. It's like, oh, who's the next guy? That's why.
Gil,
I think if you just
yeah.
go ahead, Mike.
SGA did have a great season. Like to me, SGA winning is fine. Like I thought Jokic had a great season, triple double. He actually shot better from behind the 3-point line percentage wise than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But SGA I think averaged over 30 points, shot over 50% from the floor, shot 90% from the free throw line, which I think the only guys that have ever done that, or I know Jordan is one. I don't know if Steph Curry averaged that many points a game, but anyone that's met those criteria has always won the MVP. Like if you hit those benchmarks. Now, if Jokic had won this year, I think there would be a little bit more people up in arms, perhaps, and it's probably because Jokic has won 3 times. But Gilgeous-Alexander had a great season. The best team by far. I think they set a record for point differential. He was exceptional. The part that surprised me the most about this is that SGA got 71 first place votes to Jokic's 29. That seemed to me
that was a little off
a
balance,
little bit too much. Like the vote itself was close, 913 to 787. Giannis a distant third, but for SGA to get 71 first place votes, that to me is a clear indicator that a lot of people just didn't want to vote for Jokic, which is unfortunate. It shouldn't be that you don't want to vote for a guy because he's won it 3 times already. It should just be how great was this guy's season. And I think you couldn't lose either way with either of these 2 MVPs. I'm not too disappointed with SGA winning it just because he did have a historic season. The team had a historic season.
They're amazing, and he had an amazing year, and
team.
he's a very good face of the NBA right now. He
Yeah.
doesn't cause trouble. He's not doing bad, stupid things. He seems to be a happy-go-lucky person. He's very subdued. He's not choking people or doing anything like that. So I think the NBA is a lot of marketing too, and sometimes I don't know if they have a say in some of these things. But Jokic is not the kind of guy they market. He's not flashy. He's not
What
flashy.
if they create an AI MVP, right? And they get like the 4 or 5 players that could possibly win it, put them up on stage, and then they just type into AI who should be the AI MVP this year, and whatever the computer spits out, that's the guy that gets the AI MVP award.
Yeah, but you'd have to specify what statistics and how the statistics. Like AI is
You
not
would
going to
just ask,
understand. Yeah.
who's the 2025 NBA MVP and see what it spits out. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
See what
Say
it's
who
I'm
should it
probably
be?
going to say SGA though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I might say that, but
But
it
but
is
I
interesting. It's an interesting thing. I mean, we could argue about this all day. I think it was going to be one of those two, right? There was Giannis. I don't care about Giannis. Was not in the equation. I'm sorry. He was
yeah.
not. He had a good season, and he had. I would say this year he did work on his passing more than I've ever seen him. He's definitely become a better passer or distributor than he's ever been. But first of all, his team stunk. They I can't believe they even made the playoffs because to me they just night in night out that you just never know if they were going to win. And I'm really surprised. So Denver, it's funny. What would have happened if Denver had won that series?
In
You
what
know,
regard with the MVP?
yeah. Let's just say
Well,
Denver beat Oklahoma City, and
they put the votes in before the end of the.
I know that, but I'm saying, well, we think so.
Yeah, yeah.
We always think so, right? We always think so, but we don't know. What if would the NBA have had said, "Hey, let's not lose face. Let's make Jokic the MVP." I'm
Well,
curious about that because
well, the
I'm getting a
unseen.
little. I know Barkley said some things, but I'm getting a little fishy right now about the way the NBA these things happen in these games, and we could talk about that more. But I've just seen a lot of things that are really surprising. It's almost like, are they manufactured? And
Yeah.
we could say, so, okay, let's talk
Hey,
about.
Brian, really quickly,
Go
I
ahead.
know you're gonna love this because he's your favorite guy. But so SGA wins MVP this year for the Thunder. Do you recall how he got to Oklahoma City?
It was traded,
Yeah, it
right?
was a
Wasn't there a
trade.
trade?
It was a draft pick that the Warriors traded, right?
No. So, Brian, your favorite player, Paul George, was traded to the Clippers
Oh,
for.
that's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
listen to the haul that Sam Presti got. He got SGA back. He got Danilo Gallinari. He got 4 future unprotected first round picks, 1 protected future first round pick, and the right to swap future picks with the Clippers twice.
For
Jeez.
playoff PG. Oh
Isn't
my
that
God.
incredible? And now playoff PG is
He's
back
in,
is in
he's the
Philadelphia. So
Sixers.
what
Yeah.
Sam Presti is this him and Brad Stevens are like playing a different game in the front office. It's incredible, like the moves that Sam Presti makes because they had all of that young talent. They had KD, Westbrook, James
Yeah.
Harden.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
guys left and flipped it over like very quickly. They've become a great team yet again. Like it's incredible what they do.
They have a plan and they stick to it.
Yeah, it's
That's pretty
incredible.
awesome. It is pretty awesome.
Impressive.
That team is tough. They're deep.
Yeah.
They're not even. That's why I'm saying if SGA wasn't there, would they make the playoffs? I'm kind of thinking they would.
Yeah, they definitely would. They'd be
Yeah.
fine. They'd
So
be really fine.
would Denver make the playoffs without Jokic? No
It'd be a
way.
struggle. Yeah, it'd be a
No, yeah.
Yeah.
struggle.
So it's really interesting. It's amazing that we can't. Hey, the only way you can figure this out if we go play it on AI or some kind of video game and just let it play itself out. But it's interesting. SGA deserves it. I'm not gonna. I
Yeah,
can't. Either one of those two would have won. I'd be fine. Like it didn't matter to me at this point. I was like, okay, they both deserve it, but the only one's gonna get it.
yeah,
SGA, it's his year. It's his year. Give it to him.
yeah.
His team's great. I don't have a problem with it. I
Agreed.
think I wished it was closer. Like you said, I wish the vote was closer. But okay, let's move on. Let's move on. There's a big elephant in the room right now. So yesterday in the NBA was the first game of the Pacer Knicks series, and obviously New York was buzzing. MSG was crazy. Tickets, the lowest ticket was $700. The lowest ticket, folks, the lowest ticket up in the rafters where you can hardly see anything. Everybody looks like ants running around. $700, the lowest, and it went. Most of them went for more than that. Um, so this place was buzzing. Every star was out. Ben Stiller, Chalamet, all those guys. They were all out there watching the game.
Larry David.
Larry David was there. Yes,
Larry
he
David
was.
was there.
Yeah, he
Front
was there.
row, baby.
Yeah, he
Front
was
row
there. He's a big
on the
Knicks fan.
court.
Awesome.
He's a big Knicks fan. So Woody Allen, they're all there. Everybody's there, right? Okay.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, he's a big Knicks
He's
fan.
still alive. Gosh. Yeah.
And his wife, what's his wife's name? Soon Yi.
Would ye?
Oh, yeah.
His
Okay.
daughter.
There he is.
Yeah.
It was this actually his nanny, right? Okay. So they were all there watching this game, and place was buzzing. And okay, Alex. So why don't you give your recap? Because I don't even want to. I'm going to start vomiting. So what? Go ahead. What do
The
you give
Knicks
us your
won.
recap of the game?
The
Go.
Knicks were up 14. I turned it off and they won.
Okay.
Alex was very quiet on our text exchange last night during the game.
It was brutal. It was brutal. So basically, the Knicks blew a 14-point lead in the third quarter. But you know what? I'm going to say, well, they missed foul shots. They which if they made one foul shot, they win the game. So OG missed a foul shot and Cat missed a foul shot in under a minute. And if they either of them made that one foul shot, they win the game. Refereeing definitely wasn't in the Knicks' favor. I mean, the star, Jalen Brunson for the Knicks, and really the biggest, probably the best player in the series, 5 fouls. I mean, you know, I guess he committed 5 fouls. OG, 5 fouls. It was like there was a lot of fouls called against the Knicks, but the Pacers can, withstand that because they go so deep. So they can kind of spread the fouls around, but a lot of fouls. But the bottom line is the Knicks slowed the game down a little bit when they were up. And I really think you have to give credit to the Pacers, specifically Aaron Naismith. The guy didn't miss. I mean, he went
It was
down the court.
amazing.
There were guys in his face. He had open shots. He had shots on the move, and he did not miss. He has 6 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, which sets a record. And it was incredible. And some credit to Tyrese Halliburton getting the ball to him. He was the hot hand. Naismith, he just played an incredible game. So, the Knicks weren't just sitting back; they were scoring too, but they were putting 2s in while Naismith was putting 3s in, and then the Knicks would miss one, and they go down, they get another 3, and they whittled into the lead, into their lead. And I tell you, when Halliburton took the final shot and it hit the rim, I stood up and was like, "Yes, the Knicks won." I couldn't believe the ball went back through the hoop.
Well, it went up. It went up so high, it came off your screen. It went off your screen.
Yeah,
So
I literally stood up and I'm like, "Yes!" And then the ball dropped through the net. I couldn't believe it. And of course, I thought it was a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
And they had lost right there. Ultimately, it was called a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. Another questionable call, I think, when OG committed the foul, was the guy stepping out of bounds or was the foul first? Reggie didn't talk about that too long. He's like, oh no, the foul happened first. So
that's another.
They kind of brushed over that one pretty quickly. But again, the Knicks should have won the game going away. There's no excuses. They're up 14.
Questionable, very questionable goaltending call that was missed.
Yes, definitely.
Was
Think about that? That's 2 points, 2
Yeah.
points plus the ball. So there's a difference of maybe 4 points on that play. Actually, he came down and made a 3 after that.
No, they wouldn't have gotten the ball.
No, he would have gotten 2 points.
Yeah, we got 2 points, right? Yeah. Yes, and as tight as the game was at the end, that definitely would have mattered, Brian.
Was that goaltending call in the 2-minute report that they always release now?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Well, because Halliburton traveled on that last 3-pointer too, I think. Go back and look at that. It looks like he traveled.
Well, and they also questioned, did he double dribble?
Yeah.
Because he drove into the lane, put 2 hands on the ball, and then it kind of squibbed out of his hands, and then he started dribbling again. So I don't know, Mike, how's that called? Is it considered because he bobbled the ball, you can still dribble?
Yeah, I think they were saying he lost possession. Yeah.
So he had it. I mean, why doesn't every guy do that after they hold it? Why don't they just pretend to lose possession of that dribble?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, Knicks and 6.
Yeah, it was a very strangely officiated game because I thought, I feel like a lot of the playoffs, they've been letting guys play and it's been very physical, but then they're calling all these fouls on Brunson while Nesmith was mauling him down the court every time. They were
picking him up full court.
Yeah, and he was just grabbing onto Brunson the whole time. I think he caught him in the throat, and Brunson's giving the ball up, and he was just all over him. I mean, look, they made him work. I mean, Brunson was 15 of 25, but he only hit 1 out of 6 threes, and then late in the game when they were down, he threw up an air ball on that 3. Then they got another chance inexplicably that went out to Karl Anthony Towns, and he missed a 3 that would have tied or given them the lead.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was even close, but yeah, I mean, this is a team that I think the Knicks maybe a lot of Knicks fans were thinking, oh, this is great. We get the Pacers. We're not getting the Cavs who killed us every time. But the Pacers are a really good team. Like you said, Alex, there's so much depth on that team. And you don't expect that Neesmith's going to drop 30. I mean, he hit 8 3-pointers. There's 8 out of 9. He hit more 3-pointers in that game than Reggie Miller's ever hit in a playoff game. That's how great he shot the ball.
Yeah.
Miles Turner had a solid game. Obi Toppin had that dunk late in the game.
Obi was unreal.
And he got fouled on that and they didn't call it. That was an obvious
You see
foul.
how strong he is now?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's really strong. He wasn't like that when he was on the Knicks.
And he was a rookie. I mean, he's really grown into his body for sure.
And then TJ McConnell's a very good player off the bench. He's a gnat. I mean, they just have so many guys that can play. There's not really a drop-off. Benedict Mathurin's a good player. Ben Shepherd came in for 7 minutes, and in the 7 minutes he was on the court, he was a plus 14 because he came in as they made that run. But, I mean, all around, this is just such a dangerous team. I felt like the Knicks kind of needed to get both games in the Garden because, like you said, Alex, they're going to go to Indiana, and I don't know what the officiating is going to be like that. So you just want to take it out of the referee's hands, and now here they are down a game in a really, really a must-win situation tomorrow night. I mean, but they got great games from Cat. They got a great game from Jalen Brunson, other than shooting the three.
See, I disagree with you on that, but okay, go
on
ahead.
On Cat?
No, on Brunson.
Oh, I thought he had a very good game. I mean, he just couldn't hit threes.
No, he's still
turned the ball over too much though. But I thought that was more
foolish fouls. Foolish fouls. Yeah. Some of the fouls, like I know Alex, you said he shouldn't have gotten some of those fouls. I agree, but there was also like 3 of the 5 that he got. They were stupid fouls. Like 2 of them, I don't think he deserved. The other 3, they weren't even good fouls. They were stupid, and I that's the thing. He is supposed to be the leader of that team. He's supposed to be. This is my biggest problem sometimes with Draymond Green. Is like he does stupid things during the game, and I also feel with Brunson is when push comes to shove, he goes back to ISO ball, and then he goes and he basically. Cat was having the game of his life. Cat was playing good. He was hustling. He was being tough. They should have fed him the ball more. And Brunson, for some reason, every once in a while, does not play his role as a distributor. He doesn't do that. He's a me first guy. Now, I think the world of Brunson. I loved him in college. I've always think he's a man among boys. He's a smart dude. He knows the sport, but. And they could be Tibbs. That's the way Tibbs runs the offense. But I watched them every once in a while. All the players would go on the other side, and it would be him. And I'm like, this is not what you do in the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's called from the bench, right? I mean, that's a play
but he's not.
That
and sometimes he doesn't run out the clock. Another problem near the end there when Pacers were coming back, he took a stupid 3 one time when there was like 18 seconds on the clock. Yeah. I don't understand why they did that. I still have a big problem. And you know something, Alex and Mike, the Knicks played the best near the third and fourth quarter when Brunson was out.
Yeah.
Like they played better when he was out. Now that's normally it doesn't happen.
Right.
But for some reason last night it was, and that was because Cat was playing his behind off. Now, OG, to me, that's another guy, man. For all the money they pay him, night in, night out, he should score more. Because every once in a while he has a monster game. Then he's just invisible. And he was invisible. And Josh Hart also, he's supposed to be a defensive guy. The guy was getting ripped to shreds last night.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that.
Tired.
Yeah, maybe they were tired. That's okay. That's, it's fine. Game 1 at home. But I don't know. They got to be better. They have to be better at this stuff. And I know Indianapolis came in and they had them. The Knicks had them, and the Knicks could have been, they had a really good chance to go up 2-0 and then go into Indiana. Right now, they're going to be playing for their lives the next game, and it's going to be tough. Now they do play better when they have the gun to their head. That's a big thing with the Knicks. So maybe maybe it'll be a good thing.
Do you think the pressure got to the Knicks because they beat the Celtics? They're playing at home. Everybody loves Jalen Brunson, and they've got the Pacers, who I think on paper, people just assume that the Knicks should beat the Pacers. I would never say that because I really like this Pacers team. But do you think the pressure of being on that stage got to them a little bit last night?
I just think they were up so much, dominating the game. I'd have to say no. I mean, I think it just honestly, I think it was incredible shot making by the Pacers, right? Especially Neesmith at the end. If he misses any one of those shots,
Yep.
the Knicks
Yeah.
win, right? So you have to give credit to Indiana, like you said, Mike. They're a great team, but I really think the last 6 minutes of the game, the Knicks were more tired than the Pacers were because they can sub guys in all game, and they got every break. Like meaning they made every shot.
Well, how about the challenges? So I think Carlisle was pretty sharp with the way he did his challenges. So he used one. Now he didn't use any until near the end of the game, right? He used one. He used the one
On
challenge.
that ball that went off of Brunson's hand.
Well, that was the second challenge. But the
Yeah.
first challenge he used
The foul.
and
Right.
he ended up not losing it, right? Because if he had lost it, that's another
Right.
that's another thing.
yes.
Alex, if he had lost that challenge, the
Yeah.
Knicks still would have won, right?
That was the loose
right?
ball, right? That was the loose
Yeah.
ball that came off on Seattle.
Because they wouldn't have been able to do the second challenge, right? So,
Right.
so both challenges he had, he saved them. Tibbs had used his, and it was done, right?
Which it's funny because on that shot, like he's going up, right? He blocks the ball. He then comes down and hits his arm.
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, it was a loose ball at that point, so you can hit a guy's arm, right?
Yeah,
so
I don't like that either. Yeah.
But if he had shot it and he didn't hit the ball, and the ball and he hit his arm, would that have been a foul?
No, I think it should have been a jump ball.
Oh no, I
jump
agree with the
ball.
call. I thought it was fine. I thought it was a loose ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a playoff game. See, this is where I have a big problem. Why are there so? Here we are talking about this now. We're Monday morning quarterbacks here, okay, but we're talking about 6 or 7 calls during a game, an NBA playoff game, that so much is riding on, that could have impacted 1 point, guys, right?
Right.
1
Yeah,
point.
yeah. That's the problem, Brian. It's
That's
a close
scary.
game, so any bad call. But I think to your point earlier, right, how they call the game, because I've noticed it on many of the games I've watched, that it's very free form in the first 2 quarters, and then all of a sudden the whistle starts blowing in the third quarter. And then it stops in the fourth quarter. That's kind of what I've noticed the pattern of all these playoff games is, yeah, they let them play a bunch. And in the third quarter, I feel like they start blowing the whistle a bunch. And then all of a sudden the players are kind of get on their heels. And in the fourth quarter, they're not really blowing it again. So,
Which is
a little
terrible.
more consistency there.
Which is horrible. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
But
so
it's both
inconsistent.
teams.
Yeah.
It's both teams.
Yeah, no, it was.
It's just hard.
I just feel that the Knicks are a one-man team. Now, again, Cat played his behind off, but they know that. So they were manhandling Brunson. I agree with you, and they were doing that on purpose. That's exactly what their game plan was. The Knicks aren't doing that to anybody. Maybe they need to start doing that. Maybe they need to just start going after Halliburton, because he's how he's how they go regardless. Like, he's had some bad games in the playoffs, but he's also had some amazing games. And yesterday he just knew he could hit that shot. He's a very interesting guy, but the Knicks do not guard the 3 very well. They do not. Naismith was making all those shots. Why weren't they on him like glue?
Yeah, they were trying. Yeah, he was running off screens, and they were trying.
I don't
but
know.
he had a couple open ones where it was just
Hart
like
slipped one time. Hart slipped one time. I was like, I don't know what was going on. And another time, somebody turned their back and they left them open. Yeah, it was because
I hate all the switching, and I'm sure Mike can explain why they do that. But why didn't you, like, after the third 3 that he made, switch OG or Mikal Bridges to him and just say stay with him?
Yep.
And then keep the other guy on Halliburton, and then move the other guys around. For foul count, 23 against the Knicks, 24 against the Pacers. But obviously the Pacers one is spread between 10 guys, and the Knicks is probably,
what was the turnover? What was the turnover differential?
The turnover difference was 7 for the Pacers, 15 for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson had 7 turnovers himself.
Yeah, that's miserable.
And that's because they were pressuring him all game
double
long.
teaming him.
Halliburton was had free reign. He didn't look pressured at all. He only turned the ball over 2 times in 42 minutes. I mean, he had free reign to operate. He was just keeping guys off of it, but they put no pressure on him. So I don't know who the guy is that you can put on him.
Well, you
Bringing a
can't put Brunson on it
two-stick
because Brunson's
ride,
taking most
something.
of the shots. See,
Yeah.
that's the problem. Like when you're a point guard is taking most of the shots, he's down there taking the shot. Miss the rest of the team's going back. Their point guards running down. He's not able to go pressure. Like he can't do that. If he was not taking the shots all the time, he could probably do that more often, but he can't. I really feel that for them to win, it's got to not be Brunson, even though he's their best player by far. It's not even close in my mind. But right now with the playoffs, people are keying on him. He's got to get the ball to the rest of these guys. Get the ball to Cat. Cat was he missed that last three, which I just thought that was it for him. I said he's going to make this, and he's going to be a star. It doesn't even hit the rim, right? It didn't even hit the rim. I couldn't believe that last shot he took. It was horrible.
But
But
their legs, you could see their legs were shot,
yeah.
right? Like, I mean,
But I really wanted him. I really wanted him to make that. That would have been so good for him to make that. But up until that point, he had been playing his behind off. He playing D, hustling, pushing people around,
Well,
being a non-cat. He was non-cat. He was
and he
better
got
than
a
cat.
lot of rest because Mitchell
Yeah.
Robinson was playing so well as
He
well.
played also amazing.
They could rest Cat, so he was coming in much fresher, which was
You gotta love Mitchell Robinson. That guy, he knows what he's supposed to do. He knows what he's supposed to do. He's not doing more than he's supposed to do. He comes in and does the right thing. He plays the game the right way. I like him.
yeah.
Except on that Toppin dunk, he was completely out of
I know.
sorts. That was a disaster. That play, Toppin just went right to the rim on his own, and to make matters worse, I think Mikal Bridges was at the rim. He fouled him. They don't call it, and then Mikal Bridges' loose arm swings back and hit Mitchell Robinson in the throat.
I saw that.
That whole play was a disaster.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh my gosh, not only did Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson fall asleep and you get this dunk, I said, poor Mitchell Robinson gets slapped in the throat too. It was just awful.
Toppin is such a good jumper. He was almost like it looked like he was doing NBA Jam.
Yeah,
Like I was about to say, boom shakalaka. Like he was up so high.
He went up and then he brought the ball down and then kept going and then brought it under the defender and went up and over for the dunk. It was a great dunk that didn't really get a lot of attention on the call. They were really talking about the miscommunication on defense, but the dunk itself was great. And I was actually a little bit surprised because they were up one at the time, I believe, and they could have just. Well, actually, were they up one or three at the time? Because I was actually surprised when he made the dunk. I was like, oh, I was surprised that he went for the basket. I thought he would have just tried to move the ball and try to run out the clock or draw a foul to just give the Knicks less time. But he went in for the dunk, and
he wanted to dig it into Tibbs because Tibbs got rid of him.
And I think to the earlier question about Jalen Brunson taking too many shots, I agree with Alex that I believe that's coming from the bench because Tibbs did the same thing in Chicago with Derrick Rose. He lets those star guards lead the way. As that player goes, the team goes. He rides or dies with that guy, and he's.
I'm fine, and I'm fine with that, but not when you have to watch the clock late in the game in a close game in the playoffs. That's when you got to do it different. You have to do it differently. Yes, earlier in the game, ride with the guy, go for it. Ride or die. You got to go with Brunson, right? He's the guy. But end of the game, the point guard has to be smart. He's turning his back to the basket, backing in with his butt, right? That's not what you want to have the guy doing. It's very awkward. I don't like that type of basketball. It's not to me. I don't see that as winning basketball. The Knicks are, here's my whole take on this thing. I think the Knicks are a very, very good team. They have some really good players that at any given night can be great. Could they go to the NBA championship? Could they win the championship? 100% they could win now, but they're not a great team. And so it's going to dictate. A lot's going to dictate what happens with the other teams. They can win this. They can win this series. I think they still will. I know you're saying Knicks in 6. I think it's going to go 7, but I think the Knicks are going to win. I think they're going to win in the Garden.
But 6 rhymes with Knicks.
I know it does.
Exactly.
I know it does. So that I think that's cool. But I also feel that they're going to have no chance against Oklahoma City. So we have to root for Minnesota to win because I really don't think that they don't have the second team to play with that, and they're going to be tired out. And they're going to double team. They're going to have Lucas Dort on Brunson, and that's it. They're going to be done, right? They're not going to be able to do anything. So That's what I worry about. So let's hope the Minnesota wins and hope the Knicks come back, because the Knicks could win the championship, but they also could be the first team out. And that's very interesting. This is scary. It was scary how they fell apart yesterday. It's scary how when things go wrong, it's like, let's go back to ISO. What team has ever won a championship with ISO ball? Do you ever remember one? Because don't say the Bulls, because the Bulls, Jordan would pass off to Weddington and Kerr and all them. He did, so it wasn't ISO ball all the time. What team has ever won a championship with ISO ball?
No, nobody, because even when Kobe was winning without Shaq, they were still running the triangle. So you had Pau
Yeah,
Gasol and some other guys. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't think that's a way to win. I don't think so. And halftime, I think Cat had 7 shots. No, he had a lot more in the second half. But at halftime, I was like, what is going on? Why does he only have 7 shots? Yeah, so I don't know.
I think the Knicks did everything to win that game.
They
Like
should have won.
I think if
They
you
did.
play that game 9 times or 10 times, the Knicks win that game 9 times. So I say if we play the same game that we played last time, we're going to win it. So I don't feel that bad about it. I mean, I just think it was incredible shot making by the Pacers at the end.
Wait a second. Hold on. Stop. So last night after the game was over, you went to sleep. You didn't think about this for like an hour after like, could you actually just clear out your mind and go on to your
I
life?
did.
I was so bummed out about this. I was pissed off this morning. I was
Well,
bummed out last
Yankees
night.
won.
Yeah, but the Yankees won. That's, I know, but it's early in the season.
Nah, man, that was a great walk-off home run.
I know. Okay, no, me, I was bothered. It was really, I just couldn't believe that. Just like you said, the shot went up, the ball bounced up in the air. It went so high, it went above the TV screen, so you didn't see it anymore. So you're like, oh, good, he missed it. Then all of a sudden, swish. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like somebody grabbed the ball up at the top of the rafters and dropped it through. Like I could, what? Did that just go in? And then he starts doing the choke sign, which that's my other question. I want to talk about this. So he did the choke sign trying to be like Reggie Miller. Um, one it didn't win the game, so he kind of it wasn't right. But is he that good of a player that he can do that?
Well, I think he's saying the Knicks choked. I think he's right.
I know. The Knicks have to make him. The Knicks have to make him regret that. I mean, if I was a Knick right now, there's nothing more I would want to do than have to make him regret that. Second of all, I would probably elbow in the neck next time. But there's nobody. They need
Okay,
Charles Oakley. They need
okay,
Oakley to come out
Draymond.
of retirement. We need Oakley out of retirement right now.
Yeah, Draymond Green, Anthony Mason. That's who you
Yeah,
really
the
want.
Oh
base.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they need somebody, Xavier McDaniels. They need somebody to come in there and elbow him in the throat and let him know that you don't do that. But I don't think that any of the Knicks right now are that tough. They're there's. I
They
don't
got
think they.
PJ Tucker on the
PJ
bench.
Tucker, yeah.
Yeah, well, the poor guy doesn't get up. He doesn't get off the bench. Might be time.
Yeah.
He got in during that Game 6 blowout against the Celtics last Friday, so he
Yeah.
does wear a uniform under that.
And he was the last one to get in too. The crowd was chanting him for him.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe we have to get Haktua. That guy Haktua, whatever that guy's name is, on the bench. You know what I'm talking about? That guy's
yeah.
tough.
Huckporty? Ariel
Yeah,
Huckporty?
yeah.
I don't know who that guy is.
He's a pretty tough dude. They should have him come in, elbow him just come in, start the game, right? They're like, oh, we have a strange announcement today. We're going to have this guy Haktua start, and then the first thing he does is just elbow him in the throat. They give him a technical foul, and they pull him out and they put Cat back in.
You know who the Knicks need then, if we're talking about toughness? They need Steven Adams.
Yeah.
Because they had Hartstein last year, and that he was a pretty tough dude, and
He was
he's
a
on
tough dude.
Oklahoma City. But yeah, Steven Adams is a good guy. He's a good bench guy. He gets you a ton of offensive rebounds too. He's kind of like a tougher Mitchell
You
Robinson.
can't mess with him. You can't mess with
Oh
him.
yeah,
But he also is the worst free throw shooter in the history of basketball, I think.
well, Mitchell Robinson.
I think he's worse than Mitchell Robinson. But yeah. Again, I have hopes for the Knicks. I'm gonna, I can't wait. When's the game, tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, Friday night.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Friday, 8:00.
It's me buzzing. Gardens me buzzing.
Friday night in the Gardens. They have that song, right? Friday night in MSG. Here we go. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. This is going to be a wild game. It'll be must see TV right now in this area at least, and Indiana too.
I could see the Knicks containing Halliburton tomorrow. I feel like last year when they played in the playoffs, he had some games where he was great, and then some games where he was not so great. the difference here is he's been really, really good in the playoffs for the
Yeah.
Pacers. That was his third game tying or game winning shot yesterday in these playoffs. So
I just hope that he goes and celebrates with a bunch of strip clubs all night long, and he stays out all night. He doesn't practice, and then he's all tired. Okay, so real quick, I know Mike has a quiz for us, but before we do that, there's one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys. And so this whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing from last week, do you think that was a flagrant foul? And what do you think about this? Now, I'm going to tell you right, my thought right now is it was not a flagrant foul. I don't know why the hell they called it. But second of all, I don't understand that why Reese would get so mad because it was a normal foul.
I
Well,
guess
it was
it was
a flagrant foul, though, right?
Well, it was called a flagrant foul, but everybody who's looked at it afterwards said it wasn't a flagrant foul.
Did she make a play on the ball?
Yeah.
I thought she just kind of pushed her.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hold much of an opinion on it. I think they're using these two people to promote the league, honestly, just like they did with Bird and Magic Johnson. And I think it's good for the league. And I think if they're both going to play the roles that they want to play, it's going to help the league.
Do you think that they know? Do you think that they had a discussion with the two of them and say, "Hey guys, let's play this. Let's do it this way. You guys go after each other this year."
No, it's marketing. It's marketing. It's messaging, right? It's like what Caitlin Clark's on the TV all the time, and everybody talks about Angel Reese. So it's marketing, right? That's what they do. Yeah, they say to ESPN, "Hey, these are two players we want you to highlight." Of course, they talk to them about it. I mean, do they talk to the players about it and say, "You guys are the ones"? No, the players are just going to go and play. But what they show on highlights every night, ESPN controls that, right? Of course, I believe that. I believe that for the NBA as well, right? When a star player makes a major mistake or not a major mistake, but like does something really bad, it's downplayed. And then when a role player makes the same mistake, it's like blown out. Like that guy's got to get thrown out and be suspended for multiple games, right? Just look at the suspensions over the years that the NBA's handed out. Star players never get big suspensions except for the Knicks when they walked on the court against Miami Heat.
I know.
But look at all the other guys, right? Like they never get the true treatment. I mean, Draymond Green should be thrown out of many games that he plays in, and he doesn't and the players even say it, right? They say that Draymond gets away with way more than anybody else would ever get away with. So yeah, I think they do, Brian. I mean, and I think they're using Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark to raise the profile of the league and show how good the players can be, and it create a rivalry there. And look, Caitlin Clark's significantly better than Angel Reese, right, in skill set and all that. But I think that's what they're trying to do because I think Angel Reese is up to it. Like she's huge in social media and
McDonald's.
She gets the commercials and she talks a big game. And Shaq is a big fan of hers, and
and LeBron likes Caitlin.
Yeah,
did you see that picture? Yeah. No, LeBron posted a picture with him and Caitlin, and then Angel Reese said something like she made a really mean comment about LeBron on it too. It was pretty wide. Yeah. It's a pretty funny thing.
But Shaq said Angel Reese is the best athlete ever to come out of LSU.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what he said.
Burrow.
Wait. All the schools, like of every sport, or for women's basketball? What?
Yeah.
Did you ever see her run?
I'm just saying what he said.
She can't even make a layup. Okay.
And again, who does he work for?
Yeah, I know.
He works for the NBA, right?
I know.
So I think I personally think that's what it is. But
okay, let's go. Okay, Mike, now it's your time. Quiz time.
All right, so that's a perfect segue because it's a WNBA.
Oh, WNBA call, great.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
10 quick questions.
10?
Yeah. Yeah, 10 points each. Let's go.
All right.
Which franchise based in a city that is not currently home to a WNBA team won the league's first 4 championships? The Sacramento Monarchs, the Houston Comets, the Utah Stars, or the Los Angeles Sparks? Alex?
What was the first? I don't know. Houston.
Yeah, well, I know Houston won the first one, so I have to be Houston. They're not a team anymore?
Nope, you are both correct.
Okay. Yeah, Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper. Yeah. Cooper was like their best. They won the first 2, right?
First 4.
First 4. Okay. Cooper was their best player then.
All right. Number 2. The league wasted no time expanding, adding 2 teams before 1998. the W second season. One of them, the Detroit Shock, made a splash by hiring what recently retired legend of women's basketball, nicknamed Lady Magic, to be its head coach. Nancy Lieberman, Cheryl Miller, Carol Blazejowski from Montclair State University,
Yeah.
or Ann Myers.
And
First
Myers.
one.
What do you say, Alex?
The first one.
Nancy Lieberman?
Yeah.
I'm saying Ann Myers.
Okay, and the correct answer is
Blazejowski, probably.
Lieberman.
Boom. 2 for 2.
Wow, how'd you know that?
And I've never watched an NBA, a WNBA game.
She later played one game for the Shock in 2008, making her the oldest player in league history at age 50.
I knew she was a coach, so that's why.
Okay.
All right. Question 3. Which state, known for its rich history of women's college basketball, became home to a WNBA team when the Orlando Miracle relocated there for the 2003 season? That team was the first to play in a city that didn't already have an NBA team. Is it Tennessee, South Carolina, Connecticut, or Louisiana?
Connecticut.
Well, it's got to be Connecticut, but see, Tennessee, rich in women's basketball, both Connecticut and Tennessee. So I'm going to say Connecticut also.
You're going to say Connecticut, and the correct answer is Connecticut, son.
Yeah.
Very good. Alex,
In Mohegan Sun, in the Mohegan Sun casino. Yeah, that's another conflict of interest there.
All right. It took until 2004, the WNBA's 8th season, for a team to win the WNBA Finals with a woman as head coach. Ann Donovan was head coach of the Seattle Storm for their first title, a team that was led on the floor by what future WNBA career assists leader? Katie Smith, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, or Tisha Panachero?
Bird.
Oh, it's Bird or Taurasi. You're saying Bird, Bryan?
Yeah, Bird.
I'll take Taurasi.
It is Taurasi.
Damn.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's Sue Bird. Sue Bird.
Okay.
That was Bryan. Sorry.
All right.
Taurasi was points, right? Isn't it? Okay.
She played for 100 years. This Midwestern franchise's 7 WNBA Finals appearances are the most ever. Last year, the team broke a 7-year drought by making the finals. Which is it? Indiana Fever, Chicago Sky, Minnesota Lynx, Cleveland Rockers.
Wait, say it again?
This Midwestern franchise...
No, just the teams. Just the teams.
Oh, Indiana Fever, Chicago Sky, Minnesota Lynx,
I'm
Cleveland
going to
Rockers.
say the Fever.
Minnesota.
Bryan, it's Minnesota. Remember, they
I was
lost
going to say
a
Minnesota, and I said
controversial
Fever
loss
made the
last
playoffs.
year.
What's that?
Controversial loss to the Liberty last year.
Mm.
3 of the 12 current WNBA franchises have not won a league championship in their current city. Which of the following teams is not one of them, having ended its title drought in 2012? The Dallas Wings, Connecticut Sun, Atlanta Dream, Indiana Fever.
The first was the first one.
Dallas
So
Wings.
you're talking about who won.
Let's say
You're asking us who. You're asking us who won in 2012.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm saying Dallas Wings. Bryan's Googling it.
No, I'm not. I swear I'm not. I'm sure I'm not.
Dallas, Connecticut, Atlanta, Indiana.
Atlanta.
I was going to say that was my other pick.
Long before the Fever was the right.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought they stunk forever.
Me too.
All right.
All right. The league's newest team, Bryan's favorite, the Golden State Valkyries,
Yes.
has 10 players from outside the U.S., the most in the league. Their first WNBA pick was Juste Josit, a native of what Baltic state with a rich basketball tradition that includes players such as Hall of Famer Arvydas Sabonis and former Indiana Fever forward Jurgita Shremikit. Estonia, Lithuania, Belarus, or Latvia?
Lithuania.
What are my
Alex?
choices again, Bryan? I mean, Mike.
Estonia, Lithuania, Belarus, and Latvia.
God, I thought it was Serbia.
Oh,
No, he would
I'll
be
say
telling.
Lithuania. They were good in the Olympics. I'll say Lithuania.
all right. You both say Lithuania. I think it's Belarus. Let's see. Oh, you guys are right. Geras Darbas, which means good job. All right.
Oh,
Bryan's up 5-4 with 3 questions to go. In 2026, the league will add 2 franchises, One will play in Canada with a name that evokes both music and a style of play. What is the name of this new franchise? Calgary Cadence, Montreal Movement, Regina Rhythm, or the Toronto Tempo?
Toronto Tempo.
Rhythm.
Toronto Tempo.
How'd you know that?
Because Toronto's the city that gets all the sports in Canada.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Calgary's not getting a basketball team. Uh-oh, it's 5-5. 2 questions left. The other new franchise for 2026 will play in a city that was home to a WNBA team called the Fire from 2000 to 2002. While that team was not successful, the city has a fervent women's sports culture. Its NWSL club led the league in attendance in each of its first 8 seasons. What city is this? Miami, Portland, Sacramento, or Kansas City?
That's not the city I thought it was. I'll say Portland.
All right.
I'm going to say Kansas City.
All right.
Portland has a great Seattle. They have a great soccer tradition, though, with the team.
It is
and stuff.
Portland.
Yeah.
Alex gets it.
I should have said that.
Last question. Alex is in the lead.
Do I get a WNBA jersey if I win this?
Yes, you get a Brianna Stewart autographed jersey. All right, last question. I think you guys should both get this one. Hall of Fame player and 3-time national championship winning coach Dawn Staley has been a vocal advocate for putting a WNBA franchise in her hometown, the largest U.S. city to have never had a WNBA franchise. What city is it? Philadelphia, Austin, San Diego, or Boston?
Boy.
Philadelphia.
I was going to say Philadelphia, yeah.
You agree? Both say Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You are both correct.
Mm.
Alex
Wins by 1.
Passing grade. Bryan, 60. You're an old school F.
Yeah, old school F. Or D.
A 60 now
D.
a C,
60's a
depending
D.
on the high.
60's a D.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Alex
All
is
right.
the king of the or the queen of the WNBA, I should say.
Thank you.
Very nice job.
I want my roses.
There you go.
That's a good quiz, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I thought you were
fans
joking when you said
really,
WNBA
on
quiz.
edge.
I was
Yeah, me
I was
too.
totally joking when when Alex said, "Hey, it's WNBA," and yeah. And I thought, oh, he's joking.
Well done, Alex.
That's a very good one. Okay, well, I think I should have done better, but yeah,
You
and
came in
Alex
second.
is truthfully, Alex, you've never watched a game.
A WNBA game?
Yeah.
No.
I've watched at least a dozen.
I
If
watched
not
that
more, but-
decider last year when the Liberty won, and they probably shouldn't have won. They got a very friendly.
Yeah, the foul at the end
Oh,
there was
awful.
Yeah. I mean, it's not because it's women or anything. It's just like between baseball, basketball, and football. Like I don't even. Soccer is the sport that I love the most, and I probably watch that the least out of all those. So it's just a matter of time and when it's on for me. So
It's a bandwidth issue.
It's a bandwidth issue.
Yeah.
Bandwidth issue. Yeah. Well,
So-
now I'm gonna. Well, yeah. I think that's your thing.
but
that
they
you
have
to
their
watch.
fan base, which is great.
Yeah,
they have a
it's
great
been
fan
great.
base,
It's
and it's
definitely
growing.
They don't make any money though. They don't make any money.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize
But
there's only 12 teams, though. There was more.
But didn't the Liberty just got valued at like 425 million or something? I think.
I think it was 425,000.
No. I think they did something where they ended up getting valued at a pretty big number. So
Well, I know they make some money though because like after last week after the Caitlin Clark Reese incident, what's her name? AB was what's her name? The center for I don't even know the center for the Fevers. I know her initials are AB. She got the technical foul, and she didn't even know that she got the technical because she went to go separate Reese, and she goes, "What? I'm going to get a fine," and then all of a sudden Clark goes, "Don't worry, I got it."
Yeah.
So Clark must be making a lot of money on the side. Like Clark doesn't make a lot of money from the WNBA. She makes a lot of money from endorsements. So she's probably making a ton of money.
Big State
Yeah.
Farm endorser.
Yeah.
And Nike.
Yeah, she's
Right.
got her own shoe, I think, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And-
it's not like
and-
McDonald's. Like she doesn't have a McDonald's Happy Meal. Like with the chicken, it's the chicken Big
Hey,
Mac, which everybody gets diarrhea from. That's what she.
right.
That's what she.
Wait. One of the biggest commercials ever was Larry Bird and Michael Jordan, right? Remember that McDonald's commercial? They played horse.
Right, but that's not like this one for Angel Reese. She has the worst Happy Meal. Like it's a
You
joke.
just have it in for Angel Reese.
I do. I don't like
He
her.
really
I don't
does.
like. I just don't like her from the way. Yeah, I've
No,
never
she's
liked her.
the Draymond Green of the WNBA, and you don't see it.
No, she's not. Because
Oh yeah,
We need to do our top 10 least liked athletes.
yeah.
least liked athletes.
I know who Brian's number one is. Spoiler alert, it's Angel Reese.
No.
Oh.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't. No, I wouldn't mind if she actually learned how to play basketball and did well, but she can't make a layup. I just can't believe how a professional athlete who plays a sport can't make the easiest of all shots for that. It's just amazing.
He's just trying to pad her stats because she averages a double-double.
But yeah, they're all because of her own rebounds. They have to. Did you see the other day? She did 3 times. She missed 3 shots, and then on the 3rd rebound, Clark stole it from her hands and went. It's like so she got 3 rebounds.
But Draymond Green, have you ever seen him shoot the ball? He doesn't look like an NBA player when he shoots the ball.
He doesn't. But he's actually not a bad 3-point shooter now.
Campaign, he doesn't look like a professional athlete when he shoots the ball.
But
it's crazy.
He actually played good last night too. Campaign. I didn't say that. He made a couple of nice shots last night.
Yeah,
I like Campaign. He's a good player. He hustles. He's a good bench guy.
but his shot is
weird.
Yeah,
I know.
Wacky. Anyway,
very weird. Okay. Well, great conversation today. Let's see what happens. And so Knicks in 6. Alex said this. I have taped it, and I'm going to save this one. And then we'll see what happens. Okay. Take care. Take care, everybody. Have a great holiday weekend. Bye.
Go Knicks.
This is Tom Carvel. Thank you for listening to 3 the Hard Way Sports Podcast. Remember to get a Fudgy the Whale or Cookie Puss for the next time you're sitting down to watch the big game.